It's another edition of the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. I'm Andrew Joyce, where we're set to talk for the next half hour or so about the number one ranked team in the nation in NAIA Division I men's basketball. Our head coach, the all-time winningest men's coach in the history of Pikeville, Kelly Wells, joins us now. Coach, 14-1, 5-0, all's well.
It is. Big target on our back, obviously, after the good week, but the guys are excited about that opportunity. And to this point of the season, we've earned that, and now it's our job to continue to play well and keep that ranking.
Many times we see teams take over the number one spot, regardless of division, and many times regardless of sport. It seems like that first week is when you see teams get knocked off. Maybe a false sense of security when a team takes over that number one spot. They're satisfied there. Your team did seem to take care of business last week.
Well, we're not really playing for the number one ranking in January.
Sure.
I mean, that's not the issue here. We were playing for that number one ranking in March. And,
right.
We know that there's steps along the way, and we didn't play great last week, but we got the best shot that Lindsey Wilson could give. We got the best shot that Cumberland, Tennessee could give, and didn't play great within those games, but still double-figure wins in both nights, and we continue to play winning basketball, and that's the key.
The easiest way to be number one in March is be number one in January and hang on to it.
That's true. We talked to our guys about trusting our offense, and I tried to tell them, you know how you earn trust is become trustworthy. Same
Sure.
thing. You stay number one by winning, and that's important to us.
18-point win over Lindsey Wilson College, and then a 14-point win over Cumberland U on Saturday. Healthy wins, but both challenges until the second half in each of those games before your team able to stretch it out. Do you find a certain comfort when your team is able to do that late in the game and stretch what it's been a competitive game late into a double-digit lead and on?
I don't know if it's comfort, but I do like the fact that we're never out of a ball game, and I think our guys are confident in our system and confident in our results. But at the same time, I'd like to see us put 40 of those minutes together versus waiting to get 13 or 15 minutes together. Sure. And we don't want to be playing perfect right now. We want that to be next month. But it's starting to get time, and we need to start picking that up and getting 30, 35 minutes a game out of our guys that are quality and not just the last 15 or 18.
Right. 9-game win streak currently. You stand 14-1, ranked number one in the nation, number one in the conference with a 5-0 mark, and arguably one of the toughest road trips in the Mid-South Conference coming up. Historically, you've got two tradition-rich programs in Cumberland's on Saturday, at Georgetown Thursday. Your thoughts heading into those?
Well, we have to play well. Anytime you go on the road, you have to play 10 to 15 points better than you do at home. But I think our guys are up for the challenge. We've had a good day of practice, and we're going to continue to have good days of practice. But we're excited about another challenge. Georgetown's a perennial favorite team in nationally. Cumberland's has been to the national tournament many, many years. So
Sure.
Both of those know how to win. They're experienced coaches, and we'll have to go in and play extremely well. But at the same time, there's not a kid on either of those rosters that I would trade with a kid on our roster.
Right.
So I like our chances.
I like the matchup with Georgetown, whether it's played here or at Georgetown. Whether teams are ranked in the top 10 in the country or both teams are coming in 1-14 and having a horrible year, it's always a tremendous atmosphere.
It is. I don't ever want to be 1-14, but if it were that case, it'd be a great game, and you can throw records out
Right.
in these kind of contests because both teams are very prideful. Both teams have a lot of tradition, and one thing about tradition, it never graduates. So the next crew is going to come in with the same kind of tradition, and we're excited about the challenge, but we're excited about the opportunity as well.
My 1-14 comment was more about records don't matter.
Yep.
And if Georgetown and UPike are both 1-14, ladies and gentlemen, the apocalypse has happened. It's the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk UPike basketball. 9-game win streak currently, ranked number one in the nation, coming off wins over Lindsey Wilson and Cumberland U. Georgetown and Cumberland's coming up. We'll take a look at the highlights from the wins, and we'll have a scouting report on Georgetown and Cumberland's coming up. Two special guests tonight, Chris Cantino, Mr. Double-Double and the reigning Mid-South Conference Player of the Week, and Colt Chapman. He's quickly become a fan favorite, guy coming off the bench that gives you all effort all the time. That's all part of the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in. It's the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, joined by the all-time winningest coach in Pikeville history, Coach Kelly Wells. And Coach, coming off wins over Lindsey Wilson College, always a competitive team. Cumberland U, one of the newest members of the Mid-South Conference, but certainly a team that we're very familiar with as well. But Lindsey Wilson, I thought a good game plan, very competitive team. Starting to see this team come together. U Pike in the Lindsey Wilson game certainly challenged, but rose to the occasion, and you end up with an 18-point win that got to be 18 very quickly.
Yeah, Paul has won over 500 games, so I mean it's not his first rodeo. He understands basketball and had a great game plan. They were very physical with us early, mixed their defenses up every single possession, kind of kept us off rhythm a little bit offensively. But at halftime we kind of settled down a little bit, and offensively we were much better. But we scored off our defense. Our pressure defense was incredible. Josh Whitaker was the best defender in the nation that night. He really gave them havoc and created a lot of our tempo. And we're scoring off of our transition and out of our defense. We're a really good team, and it can turn quick, and it certainly turned quick in that one.
Absolutely. It's something we're starting to see out of other teams. Maybe it's just me, but here in January, it seems like the play much more physical than we saw back earlier in the season, even in the conference games.
No question, and it's turned back towards a little bit the old way of playing, and but they're still calling a significant amount of fouls. I mean, right. I think we had 29 or 30 in the second half of Lindsey, and shot 28 total for the game at Cumberland. So they're still calling fouls, but it has become physical. And in order to play defense, you have to have some physicality in your play. And most teams are trying to do that regardless of whether they get in foul situations or not. And I knew there'd be one of two gives. Either people would give their philosophies or they just have to shoot a lot of free throws. Sure. And we've kind of got a mix of both of those so far.
And I know you're not a fan of the rough physical play necessarily. It's part of the game to a certain extent, but I know with your teams you try to find a better balance.
Yeah, I don't want it to be wrestling. I mean, right. I want it to be basketball. And there is some need for freedom of movement, but there's also a need of being able to significantly be able to touch folks, because you've got to be able to play defense at some point, or it's just a matter of both teams are just running down shooting the ball.
Right.
So there's got to be a balance of both, but I am a fan of the freedom of movement, but I also am a fan of being able to guard too. So it's got to be a little bit of a medium in there.
Maybe the officials still trying to find that balance as well.
No question. Night in, night out, it's kind of a guess a little bit as far as coaches and players. So by second half, hopefully we've got it figured out.
Let's take a look at the highlights first. Lindsey Wilson, we'll get things started with, you spoke of his defensive play, Josh Whitaker.
Yeah, Josh has really been a catalyst for us. And here's one of our half-court sets, and Elijah with a great baseline kick, which we do a lot in practice. And Josh has really become a tremendous shooter for us and knocked one home right there for sure. And here's a nice little in and out move again here with some more of our dribble penetration stuff. And Elijah's really been shooting the basketball for us well. And when we're passing the ball like that, we're really, really special. And here's one of our set plays in half court. And Bruce Reed makes a great drive using his offhand to get to the basket. He's really good at creating mismatches between post players there. Here's another half-court set of ours. We got the ball into the high post, and we're really dangerous when you play inside out. And here we've made the extra pass, and then Josh Whitaker goes to the baseline, and we end up getting a Chris Cantino putback after a third attempt. So it's a lot of good offensive rebound there. And here again is Elijah shooting the basketball. He had a great weekend shooting the ball. Defensively, here's a great board, and I think this is KJ, if I'm not mistaken here. Yeah, it's Kenneth looking up the floor, does a great job getting to the elbow and makes a great pass into Chris. And Chris was the receiver of a lot of nice passes and putbacks here in this game. Here again, another inside out look for Chris Cantino, and Chris did a great job on the interior getting those easy buckets. Here's a nice run and forced them to call a timeout. Again, good ball movement on the perimeter against their zone. They really mixed up their defense as well and kept us very confused in the first half. But here's Elijah. It's hard to complain about making jump shots, and he certainly made a lot of them for us. Great job against the zone. Anytime you can get that ball to that short corner, creates a lot of good looks there. Chris did a great rip through. He works on every day of getting to the baseline and scoring. And here's Kiala and Chris working the two-man game on that side, and Key making a tough shot on the perimeter, which he can certainly do that a lot. Here we are defensively. Josh Whitaker taking away the wing, and we're off to the races here. And how about the big fella taking it coast to coast and getting a nice layup? And that really turned the game for us in that situation as well.
Shows he can run the floor, not just in the paint.
No question. Josh Whitaker, a great feed to the post, and CC working the glass on the second attempt there. Got an offensive rebound and a putback. And then we got our second half our defense was tremendous in the full court. Here's Chris going to double team, and he's got a nice little dance going on after a make. I'm not sure what
He's
we
a
call
little
that.
bit, little bit excited.
Yeah, he liked that. And here's Bruce Reed finally set on one of their reversal passes. He'd kind of been dialing that up all night, and finally timed that correctly. Got a great steal through a passing lane and got us an easy basket. And Bruce is great at doing that. He's got great basketball IQ. Here's EJ with perfect job of handling the double team. He caught the double team, backed out of it, reversed the basketball, and the result of that was a layup from Chris Cantino from assist from Bruce Reed.
And again, seeing great passing out of this team. Seemed that this team, while they can knock it down, they're looking for teammates as well.
No question. Potentially one of our better passing teams we've ever had. Here's just a great pass to the wing, right directly into the post. We work on post entry passing quite often, and there was certainly a case of it. Here's KJ showing his athleticism on a putback. Nobody put a body on him, and he's one of the better rebounding guards probably in the country. Just another jumper here by EJ. Just a tremendous job of shooting the basketball from the perimeter. Here's Bruce doing his thing in the post, great up and under. Can use either hand on the interior, right hand or left hand, and Cumberland seemed to hack every single time down the floor. So we did a good job of finishing down the paint. Here's a hustle play, and pick up a loose ball and start our fast break. And Josh, great job of getting the ball out. Did a super job of passing it. Kial took a tough shot there, the first one, but he did follow it. Went after a second one, hit another tough fade away on the baseline, but a great job of staying with the play. Here's Josh getting in the paint. We really take pride in trying to get paint touches. Makes a great pitch back to Colt. And I think Colt's shooting over 40% from the three right now. He's doing a great job of coming off the bench, knocking those down. And here's EJ with a blow by and a great finish. And CC on the glass if we didn't have the make there. Again, another paint touch here. Colt Chapman gets a great job driving his man up and under him, and another move we work on all the time, and gets a nice basket. Here's Kiala with a great offensive rebound, and again, he's left-handed naturally, and finishes with his right there. Good skill that he's developed over time. Another skip pass, and you know what the end result is when Elijah shoots it from that open spot there, it's going in the basket. Here was poor defense on our part, missed layup on theirs, but we did a great job of getting the ball out. CC running the floor, probably should have been an and one, but a nice job of getting the ball out. Get another ball screen offense. Josh doing a great job of attacking, finding teammates, and CC set a great screen. They rewarded him with a great pass and a finish there in the post. Some more of our drag action at the top, and Josh with a great pass back to Bruce, and there's another dynamic. Bruce poses on you, and if you're going to take his drive away, he's going to shoot in the basket from the three, one of our better perimeter shooters. And great fast break. Kiala with an awesome assist to CC, who's running the floor great there. And back into our defense, great pass, and Kiala put what they call the exclamation point on the game right there.
Final nail is what we call that, or the exclamation point, and the Bears get the win. 70-52 over Lindsey Wilson College and 82-68 over Cumberland University. What was an 8-point game, 5 minutes to go, but able to extend it and just wearing teams down. Your depth, here we are, middle of January. How do you like the depth that you're being able to use night in and night out?
I really like our depth. We could probably play 9 guys. I was disappointed in the Cumberland's game in the second half. Instead of taking a 15, 18-point halftime lead to 25, 30 points, we let them hang around, and they did an awesome job. They got it down to 8 points at one time with 3 or 4 minutes to go in the game, and we had to close it out. And I've talked to our bench players about being ready, and playing off the bench is tougher than being a starter, because when you come out, you can't make an initial mistake right away. You have to come out and be ready, dialed in, know the game plan, know your guarding, know your mismatch, know your matchup. And they've not, Colt, with the exception of Colt, which you'll talk to later, he's usually dialed in and ready to go. But the rest of our bench guys usually come out and make a mistake, and I have to rotate and try to get somebody else in. That's just not what we can do. But we can probably play 9 guys that I feel very comfortable with putting in the game right now.
Absolutely. Keeps the pressure on opponents and the opposing teams. Coming up, Georgetown and Cumberland's on the road. It's a tough Mid-South Conference weekend coming up. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Coming up next, we'll step into the Bears Den. We'll meet a couple of the Bears. This program brought to you by the letter C. Colt Chapman, he's on the way, and Mr. Double-Double, Chris Cantino, next on the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in. The Kelly Wells Show presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk U-Pike men's basketball, and the Bears currently 14-1, 5-0 in the Mid-South Conference, and ranked number 1 in the nation. One reason for that number 1 ranking, great teamwork, but also one of the individuals that joins us now, Chris Cantino, 6'8" junior out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Chris, welcome to the Kelly Wells Show.
Thank you for having me.
We want to talk, of course, about the basketball side of Chris Cantino. And, of course, the Bears fans have had a chance to see that. But we're going to find out a little about the other side of Chris Cantino. We talk about student athletes, and as we do, we talk about the academic Chris Cantino. What's your major? What do you plan to do in the future?
My major is communications, and I plan on doing, right now I got it as public relations. I like to talk a lot, so I figure I'd take a subject where I can run my lips a lot.
Yeah. Just use your ability to speak and chatter to gain a career.
Yes.
Notice that in some of the games during the pregame, you have conversations with the officials, with some of the fans. When you're talking to the officials before the game, what do you talk about?
First thing I always go to the officials and do is act like I'm flopping and call a foul. I'm like, say you got to call the fouls early, and there's never a bad reaction out of them. I believe like we have about the same officials from the league conference game, so it's like you got to get to know them. So, you know, I would know like when Coach Wells is mad that I had got out of hand when I got the technical, but it's like you're gonna have the same ref, so I know I might have got mad at one play and got mad at the ref, but I'm gonna have them repetitively, so I gotta build kind of a relationship with them somehow at some point.
Right. So. Physical play got tangled up. And we saw the technical foul get called, obviously. And your take on the Mid-South Conference thus far, before we'll back up, but while we're here, let's talk about the physical play in the Mid-South Conference. Things are tough in the paint.
Yeah, when we got the conference, it did get a little tougher so far. Bluefield was the first one. I had a bad night that night, and they were physical. You know, and I was getting frustrated, and I kept going to Coach, like, they got to stop holding me. I was talking to Coach Wells and Coach Matt Taylor about it, like what you want me to do? Like, they just keep holding me. And they told me that when you get the conference, you're going to be heavily scouted. Like, it's not like they didn't prepare and tell me about it. So it's like, all right, then I'm going to have to come up with some other tactics about it. So I remember I was coming back on the bus, and I was talking to Yoder. And I also was talking to Coach Matt, and I was like, I mean, these other league games that we have that's coming up, you know, they got some big people. For instance, Cumberland's kid was maybe only 6'4", but he was, you know, cocky. Yeah, he's a big, strong guy. And, you know, a couple plays down there, I might have still was asking for a foul. I was holding my ground. I was getting pushed. I'm like, I mean, there's only so much, ref. It's only so much. That's what I just kept saying.
But you have a great personality, and the officials seem to take that from you. Some players can gain a reputation of being a guy that maybe fouls a lot, is going to pick up a technical every time out. You're not that type of player. I've seen the officials in years past, and you'll find that out very soon. So I think your personality plays a big part in that, and the officials know that you're out there having a good time, but also want to see those fouls called. Let's talk about the basketball side, Chris Cantino. We talk academics. Let's talk about basketball. Chris, your first take of organized basketball. Let's talk about your career, when you started playing, your high school career, and then how you arrived at the University of Pikeville.
First started playing fresh out of high school. I went to George Junior Republic. I was about 18, 19 in high school. NCAA was waiting on me to get cleared for a class that was considered a journalism class, so I did 3 years prep. Actually, wow. I don't know if people actually knew that, but on the basketball side of things, I did the first year, and he never cleared me. So I ended up going to junior college.
Sure.
The first junior college I went to was Barton County Community College. That's where I met when they picked me up, that's where I met my fellow teammate Bruce Reed at.
Right.
We was at a little showcase. I went to Barton County Community College for first semester, left there, then I went to school in Palm Beach, Florida. I loved it there. It was Palm Beach State College. It was just beautiful down there. That was one of the highly ranked teams I was. We was preseason coming in number 3 and stuff. And he had a lot of competition coming in over there at the Florida JUCO side of things. And from there, I had a lot of schools recruit me, and I didn't know where to pick at. And I ended up signing with Xavier in that summer. And due to me playing in that showcase where I got picked up at when I was 21, they said your clock starts and all these NCAA violations and rules that I didn't know, so they took a year from me. So I actually sat at Xavier, and at the end of that year, got with the coach, and he said the best thing would be is to go NAIA. If I was his son, that's what he told me. I'd go NAIA, get my years, and go play at a great program. And Coach Matt Taylor, I knew him for the longest, and he was like begging me. And once he knew I was on the go, I told him I didn't want people to know in the market. He begged me to come here. He was persistent with it. I didn't want people to know, and I was only down to him in another school. I didn't even let it go. So I just I came up here on a visit, met Coach Wells, and Briscoe that played last year, he told me all about Coach Wells, and he was like, I mean, a lot of people can tell you this, that, and the third, and he was telling me like he the real deal. Right. And Coach Matt was telling me that too. So I got to know Coach Wells, and he was one of the coaches I actually text all the time. Right. So I had got a relationship with him. So I was telling my mom that the other day, like it's like I'm his son. Like when I get into it in practice and stuff, but he a good coach, and I'm glad they had a coaching staff here too, with Coach Matt Taylor and Ty Compton. You know, Coach Matt Brigham that want to work with me on the off. I can't complain at all. You know, and they always on me. So I know it's something. If they not on me, then I mean it's not something.
Sure. Chris, currently you're the reigning Mid-South Conference Player of the Week, averaging 16 points, 10 rebounds a game. You've become Mr. Double-Double, night in, night out. If Chris Cantino were to have a night that didn't have the double-double, we might be surprised then. Is that something that's always been a part of your game? Get the points, obviously, but the rebounds go with it as well.
The rebounds. That's where a lot of schools is recruiting from, rebound type of guys. So, yeah, that's been a part of my game.
The highlights tonight, you were a big part of the highlights tonight, but not necessarily creating your own. We did see a coast-to-coast. Yeah, that was part of it as well. But you were the recipient of some passes, some great passes. It seems your teammates are looking for you down low. And a lot of times, like a quarterback and a receiver in a football team, there has to be that trust established that when they get you the ball, you're going to be able to finish. Are you seeing this team start to grow and develop that way, trusting one another?
Yes, I actually have seen us kind of trusting them because, I don't know if it might be in one of the plays, but I remember we was running down the court, and I just told Josh, just when I'm going, just throw it. I'm gonna release, just throw it. I got you. And Kiala getting confidence and stuff, throwing back when they swing it all the way around, and they might throw it into Bruce, and even me and Bruce just throw it. So I think we picking up a well connection here.
How far do you want to go with your basketball career? Many guys we talk about, they want to play at the next level. Is that on the mind of Chris Cantino?
Yes, that's always been on my mind. Play overseas next. So that's my next level.
All right, we've got a couple of guys that have been there. Coach Wells, obviously, he's sent some guys on to the next level. Was that an important part of the decision to come to U-Pike?
Yes, because I saw it's like a resume type of thing, like interview. When I looked at who has he sent over and his success is it's a winning program, and a friend of mine that went here, Brunson, and he left, but he also told me too you can't go wrong if you go to Pikeville. Right. So you're gonna get the overseas look. You just gotta do what you have to do.
Sure. Chris Cantino, you've been a welcome addition to the U-Pike program and quickly becoming a fan favorite. And I think even the officials like you. I think they like that personality out of Chris Cantino. They see that smile. How can they not like that? Chris, congratulations on the Mid-South Conference honor this week. Best of luck the rest of the season and in your career.
Thank you.
Chris Cantino, current Mid-South Conference Player of the Week. We'll step out. We'll come back to the Bears Den. We'll meet another CC. Colt Chapman coming up next on the Kelly Wells Show. Welcome back in. It's the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. We talk UPike men's basketball, currently #1 in the nation, and my favorite part of the Kelly Wells Show, no offense, Coach, but a chance to talk to the players and meet the student athletes that we see on the court. And joined now by Colt Chapman, 6'5", sophomore out of Jackson, Ohio. Not your first visit to the Coach's Show. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me, man. Always a pleasure.
Colt Chapman, of course, we talk about basketball and we talk about that career, that side of Colt Chapman, but we also want to talk about the student. Tell us about your academic career, what your major is, what you plan to do.
I'm a psychology major and plan on doing some type of counseling after school. So I think high school, that way I can still coach. I want to be a coach too as well. So.
Right. And of course, last year we talked to you about that side of Colt Chapman, but freshmen we typically don't put a lot of pressure on. But as a sophomore, you've made that adjustment now, that transition from high school student to college student. As a college student now, maybe speaking to a prospective high school athlete, how tough is that transition realistically for an athlete and a student?
You know, you don't really think about it that much, you know, coming out as a freshman, you know, or coming out of high school, you're a senior, you're at the top.
Sure.
And then you come to college and you're right back down to the bottom. So it's a big jump because, you know, you're a star as a senior.
Absolutely.
Then you're here and you have to earn everything back.
Right.
And I mean, I was pretty blessed to have, you know, Coach Wells and all the coaching staff and some good seniors on the team last year that, you know, guided me. But, you know, it's tough. It really is. I never thought it would be that tough.
Right. Tough transition, earning playing time, and you did as a freshman. You were able to earn some playing time as a freshman, and that's not always the case for younger guys. It's a longer transition, but I think you made it quickly. Now as a sophomore, you seem much more confident on the floor. Is that the case?
Oh, yeah. As a freshman, you know, you're kind of nervous. You don't want to make a mistake. You're new. You don't want people to get the wrong impression about you. But coming back as a sophomore, you know, you've been there, and you get more confidence because you feel like you earn the time and people's confidence in you to be out there. So
I know Coach Kelly Wells, he's aware of the offensive game of Colt Chapman. He knows you can do it on that end, but many times with freshmen, he's got to learn the defensive side of the game. How close do you feel like you are to being the defensive player that Coach Wells expects?
You know, I struggle a little bit because of my weight. I'm not the strongest guy, but you know, I'll give it my all when I'm out there.
Sure.
And I feel like, you know, for the most part, I do what I need to do. But you know, everyone, you know, messes up and stuff. But I feel like I've earned some of his respect. Hopefully,
I think you've earned the respect of the fans as well. Yeah. Coaches, they're a little more. They expect a little more than we, the fans, do. But certainly, you have earned that. Now getting about 11 minutes per game, averaging about 5 points per game, and a key part of the Bears' success. 14-1 start. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But let's back up for someone that's just tuned in. They want to meet Colt Chapman. Tell us where you came from, your high school career, where you played, and maybe a great basketball influence in your life.
Actually, it's kind of funny. Basketball wasn't a part of my life growing up.
Sure.
I was a really, really good soccer player, actually. You know, I was on national teams and all this growing up, and then around fourth grade is when I really saw, you know, oh, it's basketball. You know, it's a little bit faster. You know, you're more individual. You know, on a soccer field, there's 11 guys.
Sure.
And but I started about fourth grade, and then I was always the smallest guy. I was about 5'6", 7th grade, and then I grew.
Sure.
So my freshman year, I actually gave up soccer for basketball.
Right.
And I had a good high school career. I averaged my senior year 22 points and 10 rebounds. But I think a good figure in my life was my dad. He was my coach growing up.
Sure.
And he was in the military, so respect was huge in my family.
Right.
And just growing up with him being as a leader for me really influenced me a lot and gave me the type of respect that I can give to Coach Wells.
Right. And, of course, that respect takes one a long way in life, not just in basketball as well. I didn't know the soccer deal.
It's something that a lot of people don't see. Like, they don't believe me when I say it, but It was my favorite thing growing up, but I kind of grew out of it, I think, a little bit.
So you don't have the foot skills still to be able
I
to
think
challenge
I can still play a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
throwing the hacky sack around.
I don't know about a hacky sack.
Colt Chapman, he's one of our favorites, 6'5" sophomore out of Jackson, Ohio, and has been a key part of this U-Pike success. Colt, from the locker room, this team 14-1 mid-January. Obviously, it's a team that's very talented. It's loaded. You're seeing significant minutes in the rotation with this team. What's different this year from the locker room, the makeup of this team as compared to last?
It really is a different team, and I've never really been in high school. You stay with the same guys basically, and so it's weird bringing in a whole new group of guys. And last year to this year, I think the main difference I see is guys just like to have fun on this team. Everyone's goofing off, having a good time, but we can also dial it in, like Coach always says, and we can play with the intensity that we need to play with. But I think the main thing that you see the difference is guys like Chris. They're making the mood better to where it's not as serious all the time.
Right. You've played for your dad, who coached you growing up.
Yeah.
Kelly Wells. Similarities and differences between your dad and Coach Wells.
Actually, that was one of the main things I liked about Pikeville was because he reminds me a lot of my dad.
Right.
And both of them upstanding guys.
Sure.
Great guys, and they don't ask much, but what they do ask, they want you to perform to where you're at your best. And I don't know. That was the main reason I think that I like it here the most. It was Coach Wells.
You want to go into coaching?
Mm-hmm.
Who's influenced that, and why would you want to go that direction?
Actually, one of my main influences was my high school coach.
Right.
He was actually the assistant coach at Rio Grande last year. He was one of the assistants there last year, and he taught me a lot about basketball. He had some issues my senior year with coaching and stuff, but he really did teach me a lot and really showed me how much you can have a great time being a coach and you can influence people's lives in the process.
Sure. Absolutely. Dad, high school coach, college coach. I think you've got some great guys to learn how to become the coach of the future for Colt Chapman. We've got you for a couple of more years, though, and we're looking forward to following you through your career here at U-Pike. Colt Chapman, thanks for being a part of the show. Congratulations, 14-1 start, #1 in the nation. Let's keep that this weekend, and best of luck in your career.
Thank you very much.
Colt Chapman, our guest in the Bears Den. We'll step out. When we come back, we'll get a scouting report. U-Pike at Georgetown Thursday, at the University of Cumberland's on Saturday. We'll talk with Coach Kelly Wells right after this, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Welcome back in to the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless. Coach Kelly Wells, head coach of the #1 ranked team in the nation, U-Pike 14-1, 5-0 in the Mid-South Conference. And part of the reason for that, our two guests tonight, Colt Chapman, 6'5" sophomore, and then Chris Cantino, the reigning Mid-South Conference Player of the Week. Two guys that do play a key role in this team.
Yeah, we're 15 strong, and everybody's very important. Obviously, Chris has had a great week and really starting to find his stride within the offense. And I've never been around a kid that had a better knack for offensive rebounding than him. And I tell him all the time, if he would ever try to rebound with two hands, he'd go from 10 rebounds to 18 a night. But he's one of those kids that has a great feel for it, and he's squirrely inside. He's hard to keep off the glass. And Colt is who Colt is, and he's a staple to what we do. And he's a hard-working kid who comes out every day. He does everything very, very good. He's right. His size probably gets in the way a little bit, but his heart overcomes every one of those obstacles. And just a fun kid to be around who does everything exactly the right way. And he's what college athletics is all about. And you can see we've got kids that are very fun and entertaining. You got kids that are serious, and that's what makes our whole whole group. But it's a fun group.
Yeah, serious, but I saw Colt Chapman light up a little bit, talking about some things off the court, his soccer career, while it may have happened early on, and then the challenge with the hacky sack. I think it comes out before the next game.
Yeah, I don't know. You've probably embarrassed him. His guys will get him now, but he's come out of his shell from his freshman to sophomore year, because last year he would sit in the corner and be afraid to speak, afraid to do anything, afraid to make a mistake. And now you can tell they've nicknamed him the gunslinger. When he comes in, he shoots it every time he gets it. But he's been very productive. I've been very, very proud of where he's come.
He comes off the bench, he shoots it, but as you said earlier in the show, he's shooting it very well, about 40% from three-point range.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. And really his leadership, even as a sophomore, with the coaching background that he's got and the smarts he's got, he gets other guys in the right places, and he knows how to make up for lack of size or lack of strength, just because he's in the right spots when he's supposed to be there. And just as a coach, you really appreciate those kind of things.
And of course, those guys that are all heart. We've all seen them, the guys that may not be blessed with the size needed in whatever sport, but the guys that they've got that intangible that you can't see, but it is seen when you see those guys on the court.
Yeah, and that's the hardest part in recruiting. You don't know which one of those guys carry that from where they're at to where they're coming, and who can overcome. And like you said, he had to earn everything. He didn't come in here with a crown. He came in here and had to work from bottom up, and he's done that. He's got himself in the rotation, and he's a very valuable part of our team.
Yeah, great examples of the type of individuals that are around the UPike men's basketball program. And Coach, let's step back to the court. Georgetown Thursday, Cumberland Saturday. We'll kind of lump the scouting reports together. Typical Georgetown Cumberlands. I think we all know what to expect. You're going to get a dogfight.
Yeah, they're not going to change what their base is, and Georgetown's a tremendous offensive team. They're leading the country in scoring. They've got the leading scorer in the country in Monty Wilson. They're just a very talented team from top to bottom. Dropped a few games here recently. They've had some academic issues and some injuries and flu, and like everybody's had. But they're full strength for us coming up Thursday, and the same will be Saturday. I mean, Cumberlands will be so excited to see us coming, because it's an opportunity for them to move up in the standings. And again, it's a big week for our guys, and if we take care of business this week, it'll show a lot of maturity on our guys' part.
Absolutely. Of course, on the road, the Mid-South Conference, always tough. And let's go take care of business. Coach, good luck against Georgetown and Cumberland Saturday.
Thanks. And for our students, they're showing the games in the booth auditorium, so if you can't make the trip, you'll be able to see it there as well. But anybody that can come, our women and men would sure appreciate it.
I got a feeling booth could be rocking Thursday and Saturday.
Should be fun.
Coach Kelly Wells, head coach of our #1 ranked UPike Bears. Also thanks tonight, Colt Chapman and Chris Cantino from the Bears Den. You've been tuned to the Kelly Wells Show, presented by Appalachian Wireless.